Welcome to Early Bird Picker. My name is Rafa. I'm a reseller. This is my nearly daily vlog, year in the life of a reseller, to show you my wins, my losses of things that I buy and sell to flip on eBay and Facebook Marketplace and Amazon. I want to show you the things that I pick up that I thrift or at garage sales in order to sell, and then also all my solds. Let's get them. To kick it off, of course, we've got a pair of shoes and then a couple other things today. Going to our Nike bin. Sold. This is the Nike Air Max 95 in pretty good overall condition. You can see, even though it's a white shoe, pretty clean on the upper and pretty good on the outsole. Anytime you pick up these Air Max, you want to check and push on all the bubbles, the air on the bottom of the shoe, just to make sure that they're not popped, because if that is the case, you're probably going to get a return on that pair of shoes. Had just $9 into these from a Goodwill, and they sold for $30 plus shipping on eBay. Sold. If you watch my channel very often, you know that I just nearly never do toys, but I was at a garage sale here, a really pretty cold garage sale. It's, of course, January, and so I was surprised that there was a garage sale at all. I was going through the entire garage sale, and I opened up this bag, and it was full of toys, and sometimes things just kind of have a vintage look to them. Whenever I see new toys that are, like, current, I just don't even bother looking through them, but I looked on the date on one of them, and it said 1984, and most of the toys in the bag were from 1984, and so I thought this bag might be worth taking a chance on, and I did a Google image search of just one of the toys in the bag, and it came up to be worth $20 on eBay, and so I asked how much the entire bag, was, and it was just $5 for the whole bag. So I took a chance on the entire bag. This guy was in there. This is made by Kenner DC Superpowers Hawkman. You can see when you squeeze his legs, his wings flap. He's got this like metal looking thing, which is considered a mace, I guess. He's way more valuable with that accessory than if he didn't have it, and so I was glad that he did have it. This ended up selling for $27 plus shipping on eBay, and so the more that I find these vintage toys like this and they go for that type of money, it makes me just way more interested in looking them up and just doing my research, and I'm excited to sell the rest of them that were in the bag. Of course, you can imagine I love finding something like a vintage toy like this that sells for that amount of money. For whatever reason, I'm just not that much into toys, and I think it's because whenever I grew up, I didn't play too much with action figures. I played more like with Legos and Kinects. I liked building things. I wasn't much into like figurines and like action figures and just stuff like that. And so it's really hard as an adult to go back and try and learn what was popular like back in my childhood or a little bit before that, just because you're just not used to it. And so unfortunately, I just don't have that background that a lot of people have, but I'm definitely interested in this year branching out. I'm always looking to branch out into new categories on eBay to continue my learning, and so I think this year it's going to be vintage toys. So every year I try to find a new category to learn. Like I said, this year it's going to be vintage toys. Last year, if you're wondering, it was vintage cookware. I got pretty heavy into learning vintage cookware, and I'm still learning new brands when I find them. But once you kind of have an eye for one brand like Salad Master and the quality that it goes for in vintage Salad Master, you start picking up when you recognize other brands that are made similarly, they just stand out to you, and then you look them up on eBay and find that they're worth a similar amount of money. And so I was really happy to learn that new category. I'd say my favorite brand that I sold this year of vintage cookware that surprised me was called Royal Prestige, because I found a piece of that, a pot basically for $12.99, and it sold for $120, basically 10 times my investment, and so could not be more happy to have discovered that brand along with Salad Master. Revereware I think everybody knows, but there's so many good vintage cookware brands out there just waiting to be learned basically. So if you're looking to get into some vintage cookware and you're not familiar with the Royal Prestige, look it up on eBay, look at the sold comps. They're, in my opinion, worth quite a bit more than just the normal copper bottom Revereware that everybody's kind of getting into. Okay, so I showed you my two sales today that were wins. Let me show you my final sale today that was basically, I'm selling it, I'm not losing any money, but I'm certainly not making any money. Let's grab it. Sold. Got a lot of 1, 2, 3 GTE vintage hats. The brand on this is General Telephones and Electronics. I think it's a company that's no longer in service. When I looked these up at a thrift store when I saw them, some of them can go for pretty good money if they're the 3 stripes ones. Mine are just in pretty poor condition and not desirable in terms of the style. So I only got $5 for them. I had less than $1 into each of them, so not a big deal. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Early Bird Picker. If you are a fellow reseller and if you know about vintage toys, please leave me a comment below, either the the top 1 or like top 3 things that you would tell somebody getting into reselling vintage toys, what you would have them know, because I'm really looking to learn this category, and so the more knowledge that I have, the better. And so I'd love to hear your feedback about how I could learn this category even better. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see all y'all on the next video.